All right, what's up, everybody? Thanks for clicking this video. Thanks for tuning into my channel. Shout out to Autistic Cool up in the chat already. Shout out to Sasha Khan as well up in the chat already. My name is Simon Hill. If you're new to my channel, Black American from Louisiana, coming to you live from Budapest, Hungary. Where I'm at right now, it's about 6:45 p.m. And today is November 16th, 2025. Just wanted to do a live call-in show, check-in, chat with the people to see how everybody's doing, see what people are up to, share my thoughts on some things that I haven't even talked about or covered on this channel. If you got any topics that you think are interesting, that you think we should chat it up with, you could put it in the chat and I'll respond to it right now. You can call in on the live Zoom right now. Your face won't be shown. You could hide your identity. This is an anonymous live call in for the people that have been rocking with me or are new to this channel. I always say that I'm going to try to make something weekly or consistent on the channel, and I never get the chance to because I'm so extremely busy being a full-time student, full-time worker, full-time husband. You know what I mean? It's hard to find time for that private life and also the public life and also work. You know what I mean? But there's been a lot going on, and even though this channel is not as active as I want it to be, there's still been a lot of posts that we've been doing. Acti and I have been doing quite a lot of movie reviews, so go check out the review for One Battle After Another. I know the reviews are long, right? We do like 2 hours straight up talking about a film. You know what I mean? Like we go in on a film, scene by scene, line by line, character by character, real in-depth breakdown. So that's the style of movie review that I like the most. I really enjoy doing those reviews with acting. You know what I mean? So they're gonna keep coming like that. Hopefully you like the new style of the reviews more than the old style. The old style, we did them on Twitter, on a podcast type of vibe. You know what I mean? Just recording the live conversation and then we posted it up. But then we switched to like doing them like video recordings of us sitting down, just chatting it up at the table, going off the top, off memory of the film. But then, Acti came with the great idea to, do screenshots of the scenes to avoid copyright and also to let people know what we're talking about when we describe these scenes. So I like them much better than the old ones. Let me know if you think the old style is better, the new style is better. If you have a different way we could do the reviews. I know there are some big movie review channels that do basically like video essays for every movie. You know what I mean? Like they chop up the entire film, show screenshots and stuff like that. But I'm very paranoid about my platform, about my YouTube channel, because I always feel like my channel is going to get taken down any moment. You know what I mean? And I've made it this far, knock on wood, right, without copyright strikes that have been detrimental. I've made it this far on my channel, like 5 years or so, without getting a strike at all, period. You know what I mean? So I'm glad about that. So I'm going to go to Sasha Khan. He says, do you think it's mostly the elderly who are prejudiced and hungry? My judo friend was very nice to me, gave me his tap when I got my fingers hurt. Doesn't have problems with Turks, complains about white people, I guess. I don't know what the last part is. And he's a young Hungarian man. If you mean he complains about white people, but he doesn't complain about Turks, is that what you're trying to say? Listen, man, you know how I've been breaking it down on white supremacy and anti-blackness. It's endemic to the entire world. And even if people are very nice to you, even if people are, kind, if we start breaking down some beliefs, we're going to find some anti-blackness there and some white supremacy in there. You know what I mean? As far as like people in general, it's hard for me to characterize large swaths of people in a country. I've documented my experiences of anti-blackness while in Hungary. There's that video of me getting assaulted at the bar, me and the video talking about being followed at the stores. The last incident that I had was when I was at the airport leaving the country, and I was selected out of the line out of all the other white people who were in line going through security checks to be told to take off my shoes because I had high heels, even though there were other people wearing high-heeled type of shoes. Pause. You know what I mean? So that person that did that was probably my age or maybe a bit younger. You know what I mean? So I think it's not about age. It's just about how much they act on those beliefs, right? That's what I would say. Um, I think actually what we're seeing right now is that there are actually a lot of young people, particularly young white men, who are becoming radicalized. They're becoming nationalists. They're becoming xenophobic, explicitly racist, hostile to immigrants, etc. Invisible minorities. All throughout Hungary, there's plenty of Ukrainians and Germans and other white Europeans that a slide under the radar. But us black folks and brown folks, we're easily spottable, and we become the object of condemnation. I would say so. Hey, here in Hungary as well, we're led by a right wing government. A lot of people don't like the government. But still, they don't like immigrants too. You know what I mean? The opposition candidate was a former member of the right wing party, and he's going to be trying. He's trying to run for the top job. I'm going to go to the comments here. He complains about the older generation, is what Sasha Khan was saying. Okay, that's a common complaint while out here in Hungary. You see a lot of people complain that the ruling regime that seems to be taking Hungary down the drain is propped up by old people outside in the rural areas outside of Budapest and the major cities who essentially just live off handouts and pensions, right? And that's because of their when the socialist system collapsed, many of these people fell through the cracks. You know what I mean? They didn't get their social security, their pension, and stuff like that. Their jobs were lost, status was taken, things like that. So it's very similar to what happened to Russia in the 90s, happened here in Hungary. A lot of people got rich, and a lot of people that were, doing okay during the socialist era fell through the cracks. So that's that. Sasha Khan says, I'm sure there's a lot of anti-blackness, especially since your videos. Okay. I highly doubt that I've been targeted specifically because of my videos. But if you're saying that my videos have highlighted anti-blackness, then yeah, that's what, I try to do on this channel. We should be calling out anti-blackness when it appears, you know what I mean? Because that's a part of fighting for a better world for everybody, Austin Cool says, I remember that shoe removal shit. What shoe removal? Oh, yeah, my video with the shoe removal stuff, man. And listen, at the airport, I'm sure, I don't know what religion or what y'all look like, Sasha Khan or Kamal. I think Autistic Cool is Kamal, if I remember right? But, if you're a brown person going through the airport, it's highly likely that you're going to be, checked. You know what I mean? I have a friend who works for Spirit Airlines, and one of his jobs is to check the people that are going on flights and see if they should be for second checks, right? See if they should be doubly verified. You know what I mean? So he looks at the names, the list of people, where they're coming from, where they're going, and he's the one that marks them for another check when they pass through security, right? And he told me, he doesn't always go for the Muslim names like Muhammad al-Jihadi, you know what I mean? But, of course that person is probably more likely to get screened through the system. Of course he has to randomly do the random German white woman or whatever, but yeah, they put extra scrutiny on those type of people going through the airport, you know what I'm saying? Sasha Khan says, as in I especially know since your videos, not that they cause it. Yeah, you know what I mean? What I hope my videos do whenever I am doing my documentation about being black abroad, once again, is not to try to make a country or a people look bad. It's just to let people know, what does it feel like to have black eyes for the 5 minutes, 10 minutes that you're watching my video. When you turn on one of my videos and I'm showing like the security guard just hawking over a young black man sitting in the mall cafeteria minding his own business and he's just staring at him intently, that's what you see when you're black. You get what I'm saying? My videos show you what does it feel like to be black for 5 minutes in this world, whether it be in America or abroad. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's absurd, sometimes it's nihilistic, sometimes it's pessimistic, sometimes it's optimistic. You don't know what it will be, but I'm always going to try to keep it real, raw, keep it black, honest, you know what I'm saying, when I'm doing my videos. So, a lot of people say there's no racism in X place or there's no anti-blackness here, but that's because they live in this world where they're not judged or followed or seen or see through black eyes. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say. So Kamal says, "That's right, comrade." I knew that was Kamal. I knew that was Kamal, man. Y'all got to stop switching your names up. You know what I mean? I got a bad memory. I got a bad memory. As you can see, last night we did the review for One Battle After Another, and I was so like vehement with Acti. Like, no, Jungle Pussy did not shoot first. Jungle Pussy shot first. And she was like, no, no, what's her name shot first? Perfidia shot the security guard first. And I was like, no, 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 Jungle Pussy shot first, and then Perfidia did the kill shot. And then I watched the movie again, and I'm so embarrassed because Perfidia did shoot first. I'm so bad. I apologize to Acti. I apologize to Acti. I'm sorry for how I acted in the video. That's very mean and rude. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't know, when we turn the videos on, it's hard for me. I'm always trying to get the story right, as I'm retelling the story. And so I'm trying to, refresh my mind and keep it real all the time. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes if I mess up, that's because I'm stressing myself so hard to tell the story objectively. You know what I mean? C'est la vie. C'est la vie. What else is on your mind? What else is on y'all's mind? We're going to be on live for maybe until about 7:30. 7:30 is when we're going to cut this call-in show short. I plan on doing it for like an hour or so. So if y'all got anything y'all want to say it with your chest or type it out. You know what I mean? All right, Sasha Khan says he's going to have dinner with his mom, them. Saha, Atik Saha. Okay. Okay. YouTube did this, switching the channel name with the username /handle. Okay, so I pop up. I don't know, because I feel like I've always popped up as Simon Hill Keeps It Trill. But then again, I changed the tag like a few years ago, maybe 3 years ago. Simon Hill Keeps It Trill. Before it was just Simon Hill, right? Anyway, YouTube is a funny company. We had to fight to get those world white hate videos up. Oh my God, that was a fight. I'm glad they're still up. You know what I mean? But I see that a lot of other channels are getting their content taken down. There's this really great, this sounds crazy coming from me, but listen, hear me out. There's this really great puppet show called Spitting Image. If you haven't heard of Spitting Image, it's this like stop motion animation puppet show from the UK that does like parodies of politicians, the events of the day. It's like British South Park, I would say. It's British South Park meets Robot Chicken. You know what I mean? It's hella dope. It's hella good. I was watching them a few years ago when they were putting out videos on YouTube like every week, and they were so fire. They were so funny. They were fucking hilarious. But recently, even Spitting Image has had their videos taken down on YouTube. You know what I mean? And that's crazy. That's crazy to me. Because like, you know what? They look like they got a lot of money. They look like they're sponsored by like big players. And it's just straight up parodies. You know what I mean? I don't think they're doing copyright infringement or anything. But maybe they got taken down because they're talking about Netanyahu. They started roasting Netanyahu and talking about the genocide. Maybe that's why. I don't know if that's why. But if Spitting Image can get their videos taken down, that Lord knows what they could do to my little black ass. You know what I'm saying? Pause. No Diddy. Anyway, if y'all got anything else on your mind, let me know. What y'all think about the Epstein documents? What y'all think about them showing feet in them Nazi chat rooms? There's this German AI data scientist / psychologist who was emailing Jeffrey Epstein. I think his name is Yosha, something like that. He was typing to Jeffrey Epstein, with AI and these new genetic technologies, we can make blacks smarter. And Jeffrey Epstein's like, yeah, bet. I'm telling y'all, man, anti-blackness is everywhere. Even in the Jeffrey Epstein email logs, they're back there talking about how black people are less intelligent, low IQ. Low IQ. Oh my God. Jesus. We're doomed. We're doomed. We're doomed. We're doomed, bro. We are doomed. But I guess everybody's got a little bit of right wing in them. You know what I mean? Just no. Don't project now. Don't project. But a little bit of right wing, maybe. A little bit of right wing, maybe. I told people I'm doing No Nut November. And the first thing they say is, "That's pretty right wing of you, buddy." They say, "What?" I'm like, I didn't even know. I was on the phone with my brother the other day. My real brother. That's why I don't let y'all call me brother. Because I got a real brother and he trill as fuck. But I was telling him, "Hey, we doing No Nut November, right? We busting no nuts in November, right?" He said, "Shut up, fascist." I was like, yo, chill, my guy. Chill. Ay. There's no benefits to semen retention. I repeat, there are no benefits to semen retention. At least I haven't seen it. During the first 2 weeks of November, of not busting nuts. And you know how hard it is to be up in this house with Acti and not busting nuts. Insane. It's hard. But there are no benefits to semen retention. I don't feel any more enlightened. I don't feel any more clearer or focused. The fasting from ejaculating is not increasing my IQ. And I would also say it has not made me more angry. That's for sure. Moderately. But maybe that's because I'm an older man. You know, as you get older, you produce less testosterone. You know what I mean? And I'm 35. I turned 35 about 3 months ago, which is crazy to think about. I'm like 5 years away from my 40s. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, the big 4-0 just right around the corner, buddy. Let's see if I can cut that short. Anyway, so shout out to Nelson Moreno jumping in the chat. He says, "Can I get in?" Hell yeah, buddy. Come on, hop on in. We just out here talking about No Nut November. We busting no nuts in November, boys. No, for real. This is the last month. This is my first time doing this, and this is the last time I'm doing this. I'm also playing it on hard mode too, because I'm doing no shave November and busting no big fat nuts in November either. That's crazy. That's why I'm wearing this cap. I got this fine leather cap though. I like this cap though. This cap fire to me. I love this cap. Anyway, so we not busting nuts in November. But there are no benefits to this. I'm letting y'all know from firsthand experience right now. Autistic Cool says monk mode has 0 benefits. I agree. I'm only doing it just to see. You know what I mean? It's not like I saw some video or read something that said, "Oh, semen retention is going to make you a higher level man. You're going to finally become the Sigma male you wanted to be." Nah, I don't watch those type of videos. I don't be plugged into that sort of like, I just wanted to do it just to do it. You know what I'm saying? Just wanted to do it just to see what would happen. And I'm not saying I'm regretting it. It's just dumb. It's just really dumb. You know what I'm saying? I could understand if you're like a straight up gooner. You know what I mean? Like you just be gooning all day. Like you just spend hours and hours just waxing it. Like you crazy. Yeah, maybe you should do a no nut November. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, unless that's your issue, there's no reason to be doing this, bruh. No reason to be doing this to yourself. Life is short. And one of the joys in life is sex. Sex is one of the pure joys in life, okay? and there's nothing wrong with it. Y'all let me know if the screen still looks good with Nelson up in here. You know what I'm saying? I hope the screen is not like out of whack. You know what I'm saying? Mm. Anyway, Nelson, you can unmute. You should be able to unmute. Yeah. When you call into the Zoom, I have to unmute you because, we got the white supremacists always lurking. We can't let them come up in here and disrupt the flow. You know what I mean? With their negative, low vibrations. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, if you're unable to unmute yourself, let me know. But what up, Nelson?
Can you hear me, man?
Yeah. What's good, boss?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing, boss?
I'm doing well, man. Just living, working hard, man. What's new?
What's new? I'm actually also doing, coincidentally, No Nut November, man.
Now, I just feel like it's pointless. At this point, 2 weeks in, I don't see nothing beneficial. What about you?
I I think it's beneficial, with my focus,
Mm-hmm.
resurrecting energy. You know the Sufis?
Yeah, like the mystical Muslims.
Yeah, the so-called mystical Muslims. Yeah,
Yeah,
they have like good stuff about that, about masturbation and so forth. You
I
know,
I have
and
never heard that. What did they say about it? Like to not masturbate or go ahead and goon?
to not masturbate, to not indulge.
Okay.
Obviously. And stuff like that. And honestly, it's helped me stopping watching porn. I'm not like a porn addict by any means,
Mm-hmm.
but porn is very unnatural. Unnatural doesn't mean bad, but it has repercussions.
Now, I okay, it has repercussions like if you can't control yourself. You know what I mean? If you spend hours gooning, not doing nothing else. Well, I don't
Hmm.
find porn to be that bad because I watch vanilla shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't be watching, nasty, violent shit. I don't know, man. What do you think?
I mean, it doesn't. It can be really vanilla. It can be just like, because think about it. When human beings were changing and evolving, they wouldn't see, like, maybe in their day to day,
Mm-hmm.
which our brains are still shaped for that time. They
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't see 30 nude women just scrolling. You don't even jerk it, just like scrolling.
I mean,
See
back in the
30 nude
day,
women.
women were walking around with them titties thanging. Them things were thanging. They were.
Yeah, but you would see maybe like 15 or 20, and you see them like for the rest of your life.
We just living in the tribe. And you know everybody by their titties. Oh, that's droopy.
Yeah,
Them melons. Oh man.
and like it's it's like a good test for you to see if you're moved by your desires or not. If
I
you have
get that.
control over them or not, or them over you, your desires.
I get
What do
that.
you think
It's.
about that?
I guess it's like similar to Ramadan, though it's much harder than Ramadan. You know what I'm saying? Cause like,
Uh, uh, it depends.
have you ever done a Ramadan?
I've never done a Ramadan, but I do fasting
Okay.
from then to then.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. Like doing No Nut November, like you feel like it's harder than Ramadan. For me, it feels harder than Ramadan because, like, you're doing it with people who have like a higher calling. Like, we want to be closer to God. We want to, be better people. No Nut November, you're just like doing it with incels. You feel like,
For real, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not like it's not really like a community thing. No, it's not
yeah.
like you know,
It's
like
a
a traditional,
it's a community.
like,
It's like a Reddit community though.
it's like a Reddit community though. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but
And like, and I'm gonna be honest. I think men should be far more in control of their lust. Don't you agree?
I agree. Yeah, yeah, but I don't. I just don't think watching porn is that big of a deal where it's like you're out of control. If it's like a normal
Mm.
habit you have, it's like if you have a beer or if you, I don't know, like to smoke a cigarette or play video games. If it doesn't ruin your life, then it's a natural part of life, I would say.
Well, like I agree mostly, but it's not about ruining. It's more maybe more about benefit.
Yeah.
Like it's about maybe craving, managing your baseline desire,
Mm-hmm.
like resetting your dopamine.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I'm going to still watch porn, but I'm gonna do it like maybe 3 or 4 times a year. This is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but on the
I'm gonna be
calendar.
honest.
Let Acti asked a good question. I think she also wants to ask you this. She says, "Do you feel a decline in your mental health of the lack of sex?" And I guess maybe that could be a different area because you're saying you're gaining some clarity and focus. But like, do you feel like you're getting aggressive or like, you feel?
Um,
Uh huh.
just when I have these urges, I just do something else. I do like exercise or read or watch a movie or anything, something like that, a cool movie. But honestly, it's tough. It's not for everyone. Honestly, it's maybe because I have like a gooner brain or something. But I wake up, I'm waking up and I'm sleeping, thinking about sex or something. With like I need to release it,
I got you.
and I'm not even talking to girls either.
But that's a natural thing, man. Like you should. I don't think we should feel bad by saying you wake up and think about sex, though.
Yeah, that's not bad, but I mean, like, is it really like? I mean, lust. It's like deep in our DNA, into our bones.
Yeah.
Life, it's a major part of it is about sex.
Yeah.
But it's cool to experiment every once in then.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Yeah, I'm not sex negative. You shouldn't. I'm totally against being sex negative. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, I'm very pro. Well, I'm not pro sex or anti sex. For me, sex is like it makes sense as me being like pro or anti lightning or pro or anti rain. It's just natural phenomenon.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. But yeah, to answer your question, for me, I don't feel a decline in my mental health. I just feel neutral, like I'm just doing something dumb. You know what I mean? Like there's no reason I should be. There's no reason I should be doing this. It's like purposely going to jail. It's like I purposely put myself in jail for some reason.
But I mean, it's actually, if you think about it, it's a good test to judge because these guys, they can't handle it a few years without sex. That's why they're having sex with other men.
Okay, no, right.
It's true. It's true. They can't handle it. This is like a good test for jail.
I think I don't know. I haven't been to prison like that. I've not been to prison. I don't want to go. I feel like if you're having sex with men in prison, I don't know if it was Foucault that said this, but every sex is about power and power is about sex, or everything is about sex except sex. You know what I mean?
Which is about power.
Yeah, yeah. Like if you're having sex with men, I don't know. There might be multiple reasons. Like people are actually attracted to men and they couldn't act on it on the outside, or like
I
it's a
don't
way
know,
of
man.
domination of the another man.
I think they need to get off. And
It,
like and like when you're like 5 or 6 years, some guys they start your brain start playing tricks on you, and some guys start looking real hot, real sexy.
nah, that's crazy. That's crazy. I think most likely, like humans are flexible. You know what I'm saying? You live in Russia long enough, you're gonna learn Russian. You know what I mean? And so, like,
Yeah.
a part of survival, maybe for some men, is like I will adapt or I will adapt and I can't even control my adaptation to this new dichotomy where, it's only men and I will make another man, be submissive to me or I'll be submissive to another man as an act of survival. Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, I can honestly, it's hard imagining like a straight man wanting to be, like submissive to another man to that extent. It creeps me out thinking about it. But
I,
maybe it's just survival. They get forced into that place. Just
like I
give up the booty or die.
give up the I said this before. I don't know if you heard me say this, but everybody got a little right wing in them, and I think this is your right wing. I think this is a little homophobia coming out of Nelson.
Can you imagine being another man's bitch? I mean,
No, no.
the only way you got there if you're forced to it, man. That's my.
Yeah. I mean, that's not. It's hard for me to imagine that, to be in that situation. Couldn't imagine surviving like that. You know what I'm saying? But
Honestly, maybe it's better to die than to be like that. But everybody's different.
okay, okay. What do you think about this? Acti says maybe men should do No Nut November for a more noble cause, like freeing themselves from patriarchy. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I don't really believe in the patriarchy in the sense I believe it exists, but I don't believe in the sense that like most people believe. I think. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, it helps freeing women from the patriarchy, from the male gaze. If you think about it, right?
Okay.
But I don't really believe like that in that sense. Actually, I think nowadays women they're becoming the enforcers of patriarchy.
Mm. I mean, you gotta argue women have always played a part in upholding patriarchy, right? But I would say nowadays more women are fighting against it, and more men too. You know, um, I'm confused by what you mean, like the patriarchy in the traditional sense. I don't know what you mean, because is there any neo patriarchy? What's in?
No, because the common thinking, especially among feminists, is there like it's that men at this like reunion. I don't know, a few thousand years ago, um, and they decided, let's oppress women. Let's put them. Let's assign them to Sunday gender role
Yeah.
and so forth. But I don't think it's how it began. I don't even think that's how it was unfolded.
I mean, I look at it like not like conspiratorial, like men sat around the campfire and said, "Okay, boys, this is the plan." It's like how the capitalists, they don't even have to talk to each other. They have their interest. They have things that they want to promote, and we have our interests as the working class. So it's like we're naturally acting on our interests. They want to pay us less. We want to get paid more. So we're automatically always going to be in conflict. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think let's say we're put on an island, right, or some place desert.
On an
We
island where
don't
we
we,
already know what we know now, or where we're wiped clean and we don't know anything.
without prior knowledge, right?
Okay.
I think maybe capitalism would arise, right? But I think maybe something like mercantilism, some sort of trade, or maybe even like some communism, some proto-communism. I think that would happen. But if you put people on an island, men and women, patriarchy would like naturally arise.
It depends on how we land on the island. If we land on the island and I wake up before you, Nelson, and I grab all the
Yeah.
coconuts and I grab a big stick and I say, Nelson, if you want any coconuts, you got to work for me, then capitalism will arise. If we all wake up together and see that we're on an island, there's coconuts and mangoes, and we have to work together to make it work, I highly doubt that, we're going to start hoarding resources and making other people work slaves. You know what I mean?
Yes. That's also like a unconscious decision of you doing that. I don't think patriarchy is a conscious decision of people doing it. Even though nowadays people are much more aware of it, so it's conscious, you can
I
say.
don't know. You saw that film Triangle of Sadness or something like that?
I haven't seen it. I know it's not like where the brain crashes or something.
Yeah, like a bunch of rich people get crashed on a deserted island, right?
Uh, I've heard about it. Yeah,
I think it has Woody Harrelson in it.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard about it.
Anyway, when they land on the island, all the rich people automatically become like worthless. And there's this one old Filipino woman who basically becomes God because like she's the only one that knows how to like cook, fish,
Uh,
survive. You know what I'm saying? And then she
yeah,
starts treating the men like little bitches. You know what I'm saying? Like she picks a man and says, "You will sleep to me tonight." You know what I mean? So I don't know if patriarchy will naturally arise. I think people with skills might dominate over others, but I think the community might
well,
balance itself
it
out.
would. I think it would arise because men. a lot of part of society is men trying to be chosen by a woman, you know, and men shape themselves in order to be chosen by as many women as possible. And what makes you chosen by as many women as possible is dominance, confidence, status, leadership, indirection. You know, generally, you know, stronger traits. You know, that's why in prehistory, much more women reproduce than males reproduce. If you check the DNA, it's not polygamy. Polygamy is the wrong term, but basically, what was happening before, you know, society became much more structured and complex is that would like one or two guys would reproduce or something, and like the eight guys would just like not reproduce because women, because you know they're, I don't know, I have no gentler way of saying it. They're the more vulnerable sex, you know,
Yeah,
and
but
they.
yeah, but back then,
Go,
like
go on, go on.
men were dying. People were dying crazy. You would die at 25. You would die before you even had a chance to smell some pussy. You know.
Well, people were dying crazy, but women weren't dying.
I mean, women were dying too. They were dying while giving birth. I mean, I'm not doubting what you're
So
saying.
if women were dying from giving birth, right, then should be like at least like a 40-50 split, but it wasn't like that. It was a overwhelming top apex of males who were reproducing.
I mean, we put the value on them as apex because they reproduced. Calling something apex just because of reproduction is how we just want to value it now. Why isn't the apex guy the one that lived the longest, or the guy that built the biggest house? I mean, we're just now.
I mean, you can you know say that certain values and connotations are subjective, and that's fine. But in terms of apex of the top dominant male, that's subjective. That's what was happening.
Okay, I mean, if apex is defined by who can have sex the most and reproduce, then sure, I guess. But I would say that at that time it could have been likely that many men were reproducing with a set female in the group or tribe, died early, and then this woman reproduces with another man, and he lives a bit longer, but then he dies, and maybe that continued to happen. I we I can't look at it like, oh, it was like Chad was walking around and everybody else was the weak incel. So.
That sounds weird because you have a certain idea of humanity, of humanness. But if you understand just how animal people are, everyone, then it's not. We are primates, and such behavior is quite somewhat common in primate societies.
Okay.
Like the problem. You know why those red pill guys and so forth and incel guys, they a lot of things they say it's actually true, but they have resentment and like envy, so it turns into misogyny and like hatred
I don't think
for something but while they ignore their own animal drives and neurosis.
I'm so confused on what could be true in the red pill talking points. You know what I
For
mean? Like,
example, women are hypergamous. They do prefer more high status, more dominant males, and more powerful males. But like that's fine. That's okay. There's nothing wrong. No, I don't think there's anything really wrong with that.
I, I sort of disagree with that notion that women are naturally hypergamous.
It's
Because
not a
if
matter of disagreement. It's a phenomenon that happens across cultures repeatedly across time, and you can check for data for it. It's not a secret.
okay, that women are
You know,
see.
For example, race realists. You know, race
Yeah,
realists.
but this is gender realism, which gender is
No,
a
it's
social
not. It's
construct.
uh, wait, no, that's not quite what I'm saying. I'm saying, for example, um, race realists, right? I mean, it's very quickly. If you do any study, you can see what they're saying. It's not based on really any truth, you know. But if you check what I'm saying about sex, you know, about how sex intertwines with gender and expresses itself in societies and so forth, about what women choose and so forth, you will see it happen in more patriarchal societies and in more egalitarian societies. Some trends maintain.
Um, I totally disagree with this notion because if there's one woman, one person of the female sex, let's say of the female sex, who does not seek the most dominant male, then this makes the whole notion, the whole claim that women are hypergamous fall apart. And if we can name multiple women that
How
are not
how
hypergamous,
does exception disprove the rule?
because if you say black people are dumb, but if I bring one
Yeah.
smart black person, that means that not all black people are dumb. That makes your claim fall apart. So if you say women are hypergamous, this is their natural state. But I find a woman that dates down. She actually has a fetish for broke boys who are with little dicks who are under 4'2", and that's her thing. Then we can kill the claim that women are hypergamous because there's one woman that I found who is
Let's
not.
let's say I live in, I don't know, Norway.
Mm-hmm.
In Norway, I'm gonna say something. Norway is a rainy country,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And one day it doesn't rain in Norway, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to say because that one day it didn't rain that therefore Norway isn't a rainy country?
Uh, no, because rainy is meaning that it's likely that there's something to happen there. Rain is likely to happen there. It gets the most rain, right?
Uh,
I feel like if you're expressing the
let's
language,
say
are you saying?
let's say human
Mhm.
let's say human beings have you can agree this, right?
Mhm.
Human beings, they're born with two legs and two
Mhm.
arms, right?
Mhm.
Now somebody is born with three legs. Are they not a human being?
Uh, no, there's still
Do human beings do not have two legs and two?
but that claim I would say is phrased wrong because you said human beings are this, and if there's somebody that does not
Yeah.
have those things, then that makes the claim false, not the fact that they're a human being false. But I would just say
So if
let's go back to gender. Are you saying that most women are hypergamous?
uh, I mean, that's not my opinion. That's what it shows.
That's what it shows because
Yeah.
because some women are choosing men who have money, access, power, height, etc. They're choosing men
Some
that have
women,
those things.
it's not some women. It's the majority of women.
The
They
majority.
date equally,
Mhm.
or they date equally or above.
Okay. And how is this not based on them just being people, choosing people that are able to help them to survive in a capitalist system where you need money to survive, you need housing to survive? If we had a different
Because
society
because
where different
because
things were
if you
valued,
lived
the shorter you were, the
because
more
if
value you had, and women started choosing
because
shorter men, will we say that women are
because
naturally?
if you lived in a tribal society or a communist society or an agrarian society,
Mhm.
these choices appear. They reproduce in different types of economic structures.
Mhm. They the same thing happens. We see.
You know, for
Mhm.
example, height. What
Mhm.
height? Like it doesn't. If you live like in the pygmies or something like that, they're human beings.
Mhm.
The tallest pygmy will be deemed the most attractive, even though on average the pygmies are quite small.
I don't know. I don't know if that's true. Is that true? That's a wild fact if true. The pygmies are picking the tallest pygmy.
But it makes sense. But it makes absolutely sense because
Mhm.
you're not thinking in terms of natural selection.
Mhm.
Who will survive? Who will bring their children to successively to grown-ups and so forth and able to reproduce? It's are people who choose the most strongest male, right?
Mhm.
And if you're a male, you have an advantage because of reach in height overall. You have an advantage over other males, so you're more likely to protect your female, and
Mhm.
therefore the female that chooses the tallest male is more likely to survive.
Mhm.
And the female with these traits who chooses the tallest male, they will continue this trait. This trait will dominate and so forth. That's why
Mhm.
we have dark skin and so forth. They're adaptive traits.
Mhm. Okay. So if that's the case, then I'll say this: most women on Earth will want to marry or sleep with and reproduce with black professional basketball players. Is that
Maybe, yeah, sure.
you're saying maybe based on what your claim is? Then most
Well,
women
because
would want to have sex
it's
with
not,
LeBron James and have his baby.
because it's not that simple, right?
Why isn't
There
that
are
that
other
simple?
things. Because there are other things in the mix. There are things like religion. There's things like societal pressure. There's things like racism. You know, there are things like a woman, maybe she has a lot of experiences and she reaches a certain point in her age and she says, you know what, maybe
But if
I'm
the
gonna select.
if
I'm gonna select for something else.
but that goes against your claim that women are seeking the tallest, most dominant, most successful. We're talking about rich, tall, 7 foot niggas with dicks that hang to their knees. But now you're saying,
Yes,
yeah, but
if
religion might make her say no. Like, doesn't that prove that
yeah,
maybe women are not hypergamous, that they're not only seeking these superficial things?
that's ridiculous. How does that? So like, let's say human beings are technically uh, disproposed. They're technically they have a tendency to be fair, right? To do fair things. Let's say they live in a very unfair society, a capitalist society. How does this deny the nature of human beings that they tend to prefer to be fair?
Because that goes against the claim. You're making a naturalist claim that women, or what we define as a woman, people that, identify with certain characteristics of a sex that they're born with, right? They will naturally want to do this. They will naturally want to gravitate towards men that are tall, strong, powerful, and even with the social construct of richness, of wealth. But you're saying now, but culture and society and, religion, these things sort of get in the way. Well, if that's the case and people are
What are you
making mate
saying?
selection
I'm
choices,
sorry. I'm sorry, Cyan. I'm not gonna budget on that because what you're saying makes absolutely no sense. Like one thing outweighing another thing doesn't deny the one thing that's underneath the other thing,
but if
right?
people are not
Human
acting,
beings,
if
human
people,
you because let's say for example, I have a tendency to want a girl with a big butt, which is natural for men to choose girls with voluptuous breasts and big butts and so forth,
that
right?
hasn't always been the
Because
case, but
they
okay. Okay.
wait. That always has been the case.
It
Since
hasn't always been
like
the case that we wanted women with big butts.
what's the oldest piece of art that we have from
Right, they have little
Mesopotamia?
statues of
It's a
little thick grannies. Yes, they found statues of little thick
yes.
grannies.
So exactly. So you might say, well, for me, a European woman, that's for me. That's not really a big butt. That's like a flat butt or a raised butt, right? Okay, but that's fine, right? But women with more musculature on their butts, with more concentrations of fat, there will be more sexually preferred, right? With other women with other less favorable and anatomical traits, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but, like I can't, like my religion says no, your parents have to choose for you, or your religion says that you have to stay celibate, or your religion says that you need to choose someone from the same religion and so forth. Like human beings, they are only moved by their own desires and drives. There are other
Yes, yes,
forces that move people in
yes,
society.
people are moved by their own desires. But if this were the case, if mate selection for women, at least, because we keep on talking about it for women and not for men, if it were only based on these static things that do not change, height, power, strength, skin color, whatever, then why are humans different across the planet? We have different phenotypes and expressions in our physical appearance,
Because
and that's a result
that's
of
not
mate
how
selection being
that's not
different
how
in different conditions. People,
that's very false genetics. That's not how it works. You can have two parents with very tall height, and because the grandparent or great grandparent was not such a great height, um, the your son or child will come from a different height with different traits. Human beings have very rich genetic variety.
yes,
All right,
absolutely.
so that doesn't
Finally,
disprove what people want. No, human beings genetically inside they're very variable. That doesn't mean that there aren't choices they wouldn't prefer across the board.
but I'm still not catching your point. If mate selection is supposed to be something that women across the board agree with, that they want this thing in a man, why are we seeing people picking mates that go against this? And also, when we have prime examples of males that exhibit those qualities, they're not the go-to natural top apex reproducers or men that are sought
because
after.
because there's certain things, right? There's status, height, um, power, strength, dominance, and so forth, right? And these things they don't manifest so simply, right? Because maybe you're very tall, right? But you might be very poor, or you're short, but you're very confident and you're very high status, and you're very charmful. So these things in themselves are complex, but it doesn't deny that certain traits they're picked overall. They just manifest differently sometimes.
I don't know where to start. I don't know where to start. I don't know where to start. Have I lost this one, Acty?
No, you're good. You're getting it down for me.
I'm trying here. I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Nelson, you might got this one, man. You might have this one. I might concede.
But there's nothing.
Concede.
No, that's because I'm mentioning we live in reaction to a certain patriarchal dominance, right? That says women should be this, right? Women should be in the house because it's nature, or that men should be outside because it's nature, right?
Mm-hmm.
But so we people like me, like you, we challenge those essentialisms, and we reveal that some of it, at least some of it, are constructs, and are enforced and so forth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's and they perpetuate inequality. So, but that doesn't mean that there is a lot or some truth to it. That we, even if we have a more equal society where men and women are free to do their own choices, that we'll see tendencies in memes, certain copies, happening across cultures.
I guess what I'm saying, or what I'm asking you to clarify, is like when you say we will see these types of actions repeated across cultures, are you saying that women, whether they be from China or Canada, are going to naturally gravitate towards tall men? Or men
Yes.
with more muscles?
Yes. But don't forget, there's social restrictions, and human beings are social animals. There's other forces that go into mate selection, But yes, naturally.
But I guess what I would argue is that if these social restrictions are so strong, so powerful, that they can stop women from reproducing with 7-foot tall black basketball players just because they're black, does that mean that these hypergamous tendencies in women are not actually as motivating as possible? Nothing could stop me from wanting to eat, to stay alive.
Well,
nothing would stop me from wanting to, take a shit if I have to, you know what I'm saying, to stay alive.
yeah.
If mate selection were so important that, we have to pick tall guys, or in the mind of the woman, how come a social factor like religion, culture, language can stop that?
Because it's not a good idea to try to quantify it, right? To make math of it, like 50% this or 60% this. It's more of idea to think about context, For example, let's say the 7-foot guy, right? Sure, he's very desirable, but long term, he might not be faithful. He might not be a good father. He might not be this or that. So other traits at some time will be favored than these other traits, right? For example, instinctively, a tall man will make a woman more sexually excited than maybe a guy with a stable job who's kind of ugly, But like people aren't like animals, They're like, oh my god, this tall guy, I gotta go somewhere with them, They're rational human beings that they can outweigh their desires with other things. That does not mean that like they wouldn't choose, like especially in a younger age, certain people and so forth, or across cultures that certain people are more favored than other people. Like ugly and beautiful people can most of the time attractive people are favored than ugly people, right? But it doesn't mean that you won't see like a woman with an ugly man. It doesn't disprove that women or men don't like beautiful people because you see some with ugly people
But
or so forth.
these are generalized statements.
Human
Women tend to like beautiful people, okay? Or people tend to like
and so
beautiful
do
people,
men.
and so do men, right? But
Yeah.
beauty is subjective. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, to be cliche. So you might see a woman with an ugly man by your description, or vice versa, but she or he looks at a beautiful spouse or partner. You know what I mean?
Beauty is subjective to some certain extent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because like let's say you might not find Ice Spice beautiful. I do find Ice Spice beautiful, right?
I'm gonna
But
ask
we
you. I'm gonna ask you, Nelson. Big butt, ugly face, or pretty face, no ass, and you have to have a baby with her. Who are you picking?
uh, I don't. I'm not like that. Honestly, I
No, no,
don't.
no, no. You have to. You have to. You have to pick.
I
You gotta pick.
don't. I like. I prefer personality. I choose woman's
No,
personality,
that
man.
was personality. That doesn't sound very natural. What is a personality?
Like I'm gonna be honest. What makes me like, oh my god, I want to crash this bitch. It's when I see a big butt. I don't care much about the face. If I see a big butt, I'm like, damn.
Um,
Like
you see that
that's
big
what.
butt, and then
Let's.
she turned around and she looked like me.
Nah. Damn. That's
It's
nah,
fucked
man.
up, right? She like, hey, boy.
Okay, you gotta have a balance. You gotta have a balance, man.
Exactly. And women need a balance too. It's not just, oh, he's tall. And you said the same thing. I think we agree on this. I don't know if we're phrasing it differently. I just feel like calling most women hypergamous based on these natural things that happen to humans, whether they be tall, short, muscular, fat, whatever,
Well,
is kind of silly.
hypergamous means that you would choose most of the time somebody who's socioeconomically on your level or above. That's
Mm-hmm.
simply what it is. And men are not so much hypergamous because they're much more flexible in mid selection. They can choose a poor woman, a richer woman, a slightly uglier woman. Um, it depends, if you're a woman who has higher earnings, this happens a lot. You're gonna have a tougher time choosing mates because you will tend to people who make your same income or above.
I would just
That's why
argue.
you see you know 90 Day Fiance do most of the time, right? I'm not
Yeah.
saying every time, but most of the
Uh-huh.
time you don't see like these guys with a lot more money and they go to these poor countries and sometimes they take advantage, right?
Yeah.
Because men, it's far more easier for them to do so. That doesn't mean that women don't do this also, right? There are women who go to these African countries, especially in an older age, and they pick some guy with BBC. This does so happen with women, but
Mm-hmm.
across the board, like on the medium, you'll see a lot of this with men.
Um,
More,
with
I
the
don't know, I'm gonna say predatory. That's not fair, but yeah.
right. With the 90-day example, it's a bit harder. There's a bit more complex because after living abroad and going to different places, you know, I think a Western outlook might say, "Oh, they're just going to these places, and these people are getting taking advantage of, or taking advantage of people." But after going
Yeah,
to
that's a generalization. That's not
yeah,
fair to say.
it's generalized because you could have a pretty good life in the Philippines, and you might
Yeah.
actually be doing a
And
downgrade going to America. You know.
But but think about it. Maybe you can be like really rich and much more educated than the woman, and the woman can still take advantage of you. That does happen also.
Mm-hmm. Right. Um, I would just say in our complex societies, what we what we see is that there are people that are not all about social climbing or even social maintaining. And if we are to make this claim, most women are hypergamous, then I would say that that would lead to us socially being more accepting of polygamy. And as we know, women are not accepting of sharing a man, even if he's a millionaire, billionaire, tall,
It doesn't
handsome,
happen.
whatever. Uh, while it does happen, it's not usually sanctioned by women. I want you to try, Nelson, to have 3 or 4 girlfriends and say, "Well, y'all want to be hypergamous. I'm the high value one." You know,
What
ours.
what does happen? Sorry. Go on. Go on.
No,
Sorry.
that's it. That's it. That's all I wanted to say. Um, you know, yeah. Go ahead.
What does happen is nowadays because in the West It's women go from there's guys. You know, this is a red pill cliche, but it's kind of true. There's guys. They're usually 10-20% of guys. They have a rotation of women, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have hookups and so forth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these women, they might have mini relationships or hookups with these guys for a certain amount of time, and they rotate to the next one. You know, these guys, they have more or less a roster. The rest of the guys, they have to wait, you know, a couple of years and so forth until some chance arises. You know,
Okay.
that's what happens. It's not like this tribal, crazy, like I don't know. This guy has 6 women, and they all know about each other, but they better share this guy than date a poor guy or something like that. It's nothing like that. It's more like a hookup rotation kind of system. That was usually happening now.
Mm-hmm. I would contest that it usually happens. I would say that this is like a, you know, what's the word? A subculture of sexual relations of people. Some people do hookup culture, other people don't. There are people that go their whole lives just having monogamous relationships, and others are major cheaters. But I would argue that, you know, our sexual habits, our mate selection, you know, whatever, it's sort of kind of random. You know what I mean? It's sort of subject to the type of society that we inherit, that we just inhabit. You know, this type of relationship you're talking about, I think is not very common in maybe a conservative country like Saudi Arabia, right? There's a lot of rich dudes running around there. I don't know if they're passing around, you know, the Arab girls, you know what I'm saying? I think, you know, the way things are in the West, people are driven by their desire for safety under this capitalist system, and less about natural things like
You
height.
shouldn't take me at my word. You can. This is very open data. This everyone can go online and check it out.
Right.
This is a very known phenomenon.
Mm-hmm. The prevalence of women sharing dick, sharing a
Yeah,
man.
basically, yeah.
Really, it's
Yeah.
very common. I don't know, man. I've been out of the
It's,
game
it's
for a
either
few
that.
years.
It's either that. I'm telling you what's happened. They either share these guys, these top guys, intermittently, or they date much older men, much more maturely, emotionally stable men. That's what's happening. You can go online and see it.
I leave YouTube for 3 weeks, and my top guy comes back, Andrew Tate. What happened?
You know, wait. The difference between me is like I have a far more nuanced view than Andrew Tate, right? And Andrew Tate, he says he's a misogynist. He's saying this stuff, and he's saying like there's something wrong with women for doing this stuff. But there's nothing wrong. Like aren't guys basically fucking dogs? Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't guys like, oh my god, like they go to like whatever they can get. They give like whatever girl they give attention. Basically, like men are even more animal-like than women. I'm gonna be honest. Let's be honest.
I mean, but it wasn't always like this. Like our society has now become more sexually open.
Men were going around the world or going around other tribes, violating other men, or women, and children.
Yeah.
I mean, what? Like men go on trains and masturbate on top of girls' hairs or take pictures without them knowing.
Nelson,
doesn't this happen all the time?
So vividly, Jesus.
I mean, it's maybe it's every day, not a weekend, but you got my point, right?
Oh man.
Men, like who's doing the rapes? Men, so sexual assault, but who's doing most of the rapes? Who's doing most of the killings?
Yeah, people we
across every culture from Antarctica, to fucking Australia. Who's doing the killing? Who's doing the shit?
Right,
it's men, right?
Oh, I would say
but these guys, they give
males, not men, because men is subject.
Male, yeah.
But
so they give you males. So they give you these red pills guys, right? They give you a very one-sided view, a very I'm the victim. Look at the woman are doing to me view, right? And it also lacks nuance.
Okay.
Doesn't mean that's totally false.
Okay. I would just say, like, I hope you come to the conclusions, or come to conclusions that don't lead to uh, you having disdain for women, or you know what I mean, going down that rabbit hole. You know, I just think that we sort of overcomplicate the uh, the male and female relationships by putting them all as sort of like these natural things that women do or men
I'm
do.
gonna be like, what's the problem with man? The man, it's like too much theory, not enough talking to women in real life. The woman, it's the opposite. They get sexualized at a very young age. They get men since they're children saying, "Oh my God, girl, you're so hot." Men being aggressive, but there's also men being sweet, men being good, and they have a much more practical view of males, but not enough theoretical one. So it's kind of like a reverse thing that's happening, in my opinion.
What the
Because
hell?
if you think
What?
woman, they know guys very well. They know like the type of guys, where they stand in society and something like this. They're
Hmm.
far more perceptive of these things because they're forced to.
Okay, well, I mean, it's a part of survival now. I would
When
say.
when you were a kid, did you have like woman googling eyes at you, trying to get your number,
Uh,
and
th-
trying to like touch you in public spaces?
Thankfully, sir, I was
This
never molested, so no.
Yeah, this happens a lot. I mean, a lot to
Right.
women.
Yeah.
So like women learn this stuff in some sense.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Doesn't mean it's complete,
Right. No,
but
there
yeah.
are there are a lot of sexual predators out there, and the majority of sexual predation victims are females. Right. I agree. I agree with that. I agree with that. And so, because of that, women have to learn some survival techniques to make it and things like that. Um, yeah, I tend to agree with that notion. I don't.
Is Aski there? Is Aki there?
She's right here.
Ask her if her or other women also, if they don't have some some framework of how they place, dangerous men, good men, aggressive men, kinder men, how dominant male, weak male, and
Hmm.
so forth. They can do that, man. They cannot do that. Even with them, they can kind of do it with
Well, yes,
among under
yes, they
males, kind
can.
of
Come
less.
on, you're getting ahead of yourself
But
now.
ask Ashley. What does she say?
Acting, do you want to answer? You want to come on? They
Yeah.
can't hear you. You got to come over here.
Okay. Hey. I mean, if I understood the question, it was like, how do women categorize like strong men, weak men,
Dangerous man.
dangerous men, and things like that? I think just in general, for me, I always saw like fathers as more, I don't know, more
Protective.
safe, and maybe that also includes older men because I feel like maybe they are not as physically powerful as younger men. But for me personally, I always just look at personality, like how do they talk, how do
I
they
don't mean I don't mean
especially
like
interact with
I don't mean
women.
dating. I don't mean dating wise. I mean just like who you can be safe around, who you can hang around, who you can socialize, who you have to keep some distance. You
Uh,
have to learn that to like.
yeah,
I
I
think so. I
mean,
don't know.
uh, just any guy that I don't know is dangerous. And that's kind of what I've been
Yeah.
taught, like, from childhood. And then I would have to get to know them, or like they would have to have some relations to my family in order for me to perceive them as safe. And even
Yeah.
then,
G-
it's not fully safe.
Guys, they don't have that.
What do you mean? Of course, we categorize people as safe or dangerous. Maybe we don't genderize it as much, but um,
But that's the point. We don't generalize it as
yeah,
much.
we don't. Yeah, because we don't have to. I agree with that point. I agree with this point, so I don't see the point in continuing to
So
harp
you
on
can
it.
say. So we can say, right? It's more obvious to see that men are more animalistic. Let's be
No,
honest,
see,
man.
this is insane.
Come
See,
on,
this is the
man.
part. See, this is the part where we get like, because the language we use is dangerous. Men are more animalistic. Then you could even go further. Certain types of men are more animalistic than others. And who is more closer to the animal? The Negro. You get what I'm saying? Like, this is how it all starts. Like, we shouldn't just start by saying, like, men
I
are
know.
more
I don't think
animalistic.
so. I don't know. For example, nowadays, who has like online? Who has the fame of very lustful, very low impulse control? Nowadays, it's Indian men, right?
See, this is where it starts. Now you're
Wait, wait,
going on
wait,
about the.
wait.
Oh
No, wait,
God, no, no, no,
wait,
no.
no, wait, wait. That's what people are saying now, right?
That's what they're saying,
And
and it's racist as hell.
wait, wait. There's some truth to that,
There
right?
is a
But why is that?
billion
But
Indian
wait,
people. There's a
I know,
billion.
I know, but let me finish. Let me finish. But why is that? Why is that some truth to that? Because Indian male are of a different race, which doesn't exist, of white males or black males, or because they have the certain genes, they make them start other way. No, that's ridiculous. There's no evidence for that. If that happens, right, it's because of why? Because there's gender imbalance. There's more males because in those conservative societies, especially in India, there was a high abortion of females. So now the gender ratio is skewed toward males. So these guys are hungry. There's
What I don't understand, what I don't
they're
understand,
poorly.
Nelson, is
Wait,
like
wait,
you.
wait,
Wait,
wait.
wait, wait. No, but I hear what you're saying. Like the culture, the society, the history created maybe these conditions where men are saying "show boob" in India, right? That's what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah,
How come you can
yeah.
do that for fighting against racism and or explaining away racist talking points, but you can't do that for gender? You can't. You say like, oh, the women naturally want tall men,
Because
or
let's say I could do that for gender if males behave like that across the board at those rates, like it happens there, right? But because it doesn't happen across the board at those rates, it differentiates between culture and so forth, economic status and so forth. There's no essentialism there. There's no Indian male that's happening. It's simply a manifestation of certain conditions.
right. And so there are, you know, there are men who don't essentially, try to sleep with every woman or chase every woman, you know what I mean, because of other things in society that might put pressure on them. I just finished reading that book about Yahya Sinwar, right? In there, he wasn't
Yeah.
talking about I was trying to fuck all the girls in the refugee camp. You know what I'm saying? Like in general, there are some societies where
You want
there could be enough
you
pressure
want
to stop the
yeah.
male desire to sleep with everything.
Exactly. That's yeah. There's enough pressure. There's enough forces to push that out, right? But
Mm-hmm.
even then, even in those societies, right, there's a lot of cheating. There's a lot of harassment, right? Of even like veiled women, they still get harassed. They still get touched.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of yeah, that's not fair to say, sexual assault, but that's not because of the culture. It's because there's a lot of leeway for those guys. There's a lot of blame that's put on the woman, so
I just feel like
that
we
can
have
happen
to.
more frequently.
I just feel like Nelson, we have to be very cognizant of how our societies shape our views. If we grew up in a very conservative Muslim country, we might be saying
Yeah.
it's natural for women, or it's more likely for women to want to expose themselves because in our society that's considered the most scandalous thing. And so when women expose themselves, their ankles, their breasts, whatever, we're like, that's so they're just following their nature and we have to try to control this part of their nature, right? In our societies, how come we don't say, women dressing scantily is like a part of their nature and things like that? It's because our society
If
doesn't
you
have these sort of preconditions about how women should dress or
if you
that much.
show if you show strong, rigorous, peer-reviewed data, scientific data that does show that somehow women like to show their skin more compared to men somehow. Maybe you could say that
Hmm.
naturally that could happen. But if there's no data and you're using some cultural heuristic or something like that, then you're just being misogynistic or ignorant.
Hmm. And and by saying women are hypergamous, I find that to be misogynistic because we're just saying,
You find that to be misogynistic because that's a misogynistic talking point among incels and red pillars, right? But
yes.
but because it's a talking point among those people, it doesn't mean it's not true. They're putting it on a bad frame, intertwined with resentment and other bad data, right? And they're
Hmm.
they're not accounting for other things, right?
Hmm.
But that it doesn't mean that women are hypergamous.
That women are.
Like among
Hmm.
wait, I don't know if I don't know if you're familiar with with radical feminists from the 1960s, 1970s.
I just know
But they
bell
usually go
hooks.
like this. Yeah, yeah, she's an intersectionalist. She's quite reasonable and good. But like the back in the day, they would go something like this: men are bad. Why men are bad? Because they would use this natural descriptions like men are more strong, men are more dominant, men are more violent, and from it they would extrapolate many other things. They would say, therefore, men need to be subjugated, or men are this and that. These guys are doing the exact same thing. They're using certain facts, which are true, right, to extrapolate certain views also of women, which are not fair, right? For example, Jews, right? It's true that Jews maybe are overrepresented in certain banking systems and so forth, right? But it doesn't mean that Jews are bad people. That doesn't mean really anything. It might mean that they might favor, I don't know, Zionism or something.
Or
If they're Jewish
capitalism.
Zionists,
All
or
right.
capitalism, if they're Zionist bankers and so forth. But that doesn't mean that Jewish people are bad or so forth. It doesn't mean anything.
Um,
You know, like when I was a kid, the kids when they come to me, they would say, "You're black, you're black," and I would go to my mom, and she would say, "I would say, Mom, they called me black." She'd say, "Yeah, but you're black." The problem is the way they're saying it. They're saying that being black is a bad thing. It's a beautiful thing, my son.
right. I would say it is right too. I agree
I
with
mean,
you. I
let's think
agree
up.
with.
Let's think about hypergamy. Does it make sense if you want to start a family and live with someone? Does it make total sense for you to be hypergamous? Let's be honest.
Um,
I mean,
does
let's
it
be
make
honest.
sense to be hy- hypergamous in the sense that I am seeking somebody of a higher social standing?
Or this, or
Social.
the same, the
No,
higher or the same.
is it the same? No, hypergamy means
Yes,
two.
yes, no, no.
Let
Go,
me look
go
up
in
the
church online.
definition. I got a Portuguese guy teaching me English now. Hypergamy definition. Let's look it up on Google. All right. The act of marrying or forming a sexual relationship with a person of a superior sociological or educational background. So it's
That's a
about.
bad definition. Go to Wikipedia. That's a bad one.
Why is it a bad one? Because it disagrees with you?
No, because the scientific notion of hypergamous is the same or above. It's not simply above.
Even if we go to Wiki, it's the term used in social science for the act of, or practice of a person dating or marrying a spouse of higher social status than themselves.
Wait, I'm judging myself.
But if you're just gonna keep on searching for a definition that suits you, then what does that say?
I'm not doing a subjective definition of myself. I'm doing a definition that people use in studies and so forth to reach certain conclusions.
There's the term homogamy. So if we're going to talk about this, there's homogamy. This is the tendency for people to pair with others who are similar to them in terms of social, economic, or other characteristics.
Actually, wait, I searched it. I was wrong. Hypergamy is worse. It's actually above. Yeah, it's not the
Yes.
same. You're right. You're
So
right.
we have the term homogamy. There's also endogamy, the practice of marrying or mating within a specific social group, such as a religious or ethnic group,
Now, but
etc.
now that you're on Wikipedia, see if it's something that happens or if it's a misogynist talking point. You can do good.
I,
Good one right there.
what to check Wikipedia to see if hypergamy is sexist or
If
misogynistic?
no, if it's real, if it's a valid concept, or if it's simply a misogynist talking point.
There's no section here that says hypergamy in language or how it's used or lexicon, and it's too long of an article to get
No,
into.
I'm not talking about etymology. I'm talking about the validity of the idea. I'm certain there's it on Wikipedia. If it's not, or it
Oh,
isn't.
there's a section for prevalence of hypergamy.
Yeah, go there. Go there. Go there.
Okay, relax, relax, man. Relax. All right. In Britain, the first sentence, in Britain, Marrying up has decreased significantly since the 1950s. It is becoming less common for women to marry older men because current socio-dynamics allow women more autonomy. Hypergamy does not necessitate the man being older, rather, it requires him to have higher status. This term, social equals, typically pertains to shared social circles rather than economic equality. A 2012 analysis of a survey of nearly 9,000 people in 37 countries, which found that the more gender equal a country, the likelier male and female respondents were to report seeking the same qualities in each other rather than different ones. So, there's more to it. There's more to it. Should I read the rest?
Of course, go on. Go on.
An empirical study examined the mate preference of subscribers to an online dating service in Israel. Okay. In Israel, that had a highly skewed sex ratio, 646 men for 1,000 women. So there were way more women on this dating service in Israel than men. Despite the skewed sex ratio, they found that on education and socioeconomic status, women on average express greater hypergamic sense selectivity. They prefer mates who are superior to them in these traits, while men express a desire for an analog of hypergamy based on physical attractiveness. They desire a mate who ranks higher on the physical attractiveness scale than they do themselves. One study did not find a statistical difference in the number of women or men marrying up in the 1,100 first-time married couples in the United States. So what I take from that is this: the more gender equal a society, the less women have to depend on men, the more likely they're going to practice homogamy, which is the idea that you're going to marry somebody or like somebody, sleep with somebody because y'all have the same education, same background, same socioeconomic status. Israel, while it is a more developed country, from my experience and also from what I know about the country, you know, it's still a Middle Eastern nation that's very patriarchal, very religious, and women depend on men more than, you know, men depend on women. So of course they're going to be more hypergamous. But these are social conditions and situations
No,
that people
wait.
find themselves
So
in.
go on. Does it end there? Because
the
I'm
end.
sure it says
That's
when.
the end. That's the end of the article. I
Okay,
read the entire
then
section on
wait.
prevalence.
Hold
There's
up.
more. There's more to the wiki, and this deserves, you know, more research and things like that. But my argument is that as people are flexible, we were talking about dudes going to prison and switching it up to get bussy. People are flexible. Women in a society where they're more free and equal, and men when they're more free and equal, are gonna start making choices that go against what the red pill defines as human nature. People just want to be happy. That's what they're seeking. They want to be happy. And that's why you said you would pick personality over a big butt or a pretty face. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying, but I'm not saying that men don't like big butts or that women are not hypergamous, right? Because in real life they end up making different choices.
Right. And I'm
saying
these physical.
I'm saying these things they happen with other things. I'm also sad that people are not like totally animals. They have thoughts, they have culture, they have reasoning,
Yeah.
they have their own personalities. They aren't simply moved on desire, but it still happens.
And if we're moved on
There's
desire,
still
but our desires change based on our conditions. They're not natural. We have very few natural desires, and I would say our natural.
that's
desires are
absolutely
religious
false. No, that's so like that's so bad. So you're not saying that certain traits are not correct, that have correlation with higher desire across the board?
No.
Really?
No.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think we're back to square one. I don't think that every time women see a tall man, they say that is a superior mate to the man that I have on my arm. If that's the case, I'm never taking Acti to a basketball
That's
game.
you saying. That's what you're saying. That's look at what you said. You just made a very personal, very thing. If a woman sees another guy, he's gonna think, oh my God, this guy is superior. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that a more tall guy, a more handsome guy, a more status guy will be deemed more attractive in comparison most of the time with other guys. But that doesn't mean that the woman will choose the other guy or something like that. People are just not like moved. Attraction is a complicated thing and it changes around people's lives.
I think you know it depends on the condition. Attractiveness is based on the conditions of our society and what we're accultured to, not natural.
It is based on that, but it's all based on our own nature. It's that, but it's also based on our own nature. If we pick a symmetric face, right, and we put it on a machine, then we pick a lot of guys, right, and we measure the brain activity when they see a certain attractive face or attractive body part. You will see that certain parts of the brain which correlate with pleasure and so forth, with desire, will trigger when they see a more symmetric face or a more voluptuous part of the body, right? But it doesn't mean that like it's that simple, that's that easy.
Okay. Do you think all women prefer 9-inch cocks?
I don't think penis size is something that's more male centric. I don't think women are that cock centric, cock centric as men are.
The
I mean,
actual,
why? I mean,
the actual
Chinese
organ,
guys,
the actual organ
they
that
have
provides
dates, right?
pleasure, the actual organ that provides pleasure to women and is the tool for reproduction for men, and the women wouldn't be concerned with that.
What did I say, Simon? Did I say women are not concerned with penis size? That's what I said.
No, you said that
What did
it's
I
not.
say?
You said it's not as much of a concern for them.
Just exactly, yeah. You, I mean, you can see because pleasure for a woman it's not only penis size. It's about pacing, breath for men also pacing, breath. It's the overall total package. They're not like totally the penis. Come on,
I would say
it's who in the penis is in. It's who in the penis is in.
okay. Okay, I would just say that if we're making these naturalist arguments that women are gravitated towards taller men or there's things across culture that would carry, why wouldn't the actual organ that is most important that that we need to use to actually do the reproduction does not
I don't
matter
know.
as much?
I don't. I'm not gonna go on female anatomy, which I know little, right? But But the part for you to inseminate semen, for you to reach the uterus, that thing, it's not that big. It depends by woman, honestly, obviously.
Okay.
But that part is not that big. You don't need
I'm just saying that, of
a
course, it's
massive
not that.
penis. You don't need a massive penis for the thing to do its job.
Okay, I'm just saying, do you think women would have, because you're saying there's men across cultures that are deemed attractive and more likely to be selected by mates, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
let's say we have a man who scores across the board A's, 10 out of 10 in looks, height, attractiveness, even social climbing such as wealth, but he has a micro penis, literally a little clitoris. Do you think he is still as desired by women?
Well, he might not be as desired with other males of the same level with a normal penis, but he might be more desired than other males with other lower traits, right? It's also kind of depends on the woman, on what she wants, on her stage of her life.
Okay, it depends now, but this these traits that we considered so important are now secondary, I guess. I think
You're saying like this. If it's stable, why is there variation? But they don't contradict each other.
I think we've been going at it so long that we can do a poll now. You want to do a poll? How should I format the poll? I want the people to vote. Women are naturally
Do human beings, not only women, do human beings have certain universal traits that they like,
Oh,
or it's 100% culture?
okay. I mean, Nelson, come on. We weren't arguing about human beings have things we naturally like. We were talking about women the entire time. I don't think
We
it's
were
fair.
talking about women because we started talking about patriarchy and how about it's allegedly it's total artificial. I deny this total artificial because despite the popular belief that like these that males are totally the main drivers of patriarchy, I'm saying that's not that simple.
Okay.
That women also unconsciously drive the patriarchy.
I mean, just in fairness to me, so that we have a poll that properly represents what we've been talking about. You know what I'm saying? I agree with you that there are things that people generally like across cultures and in other people that they find attractive. In general, they like good personalities.
Yeah, but you
And
got stuck on women. You got stuck like, oh my God, Nelson, you're talking misogynist talking points.
why? No, no, I mean, I know you're not a misogynist, man. From all my time knowing you and talking to you, you're
Thank you,
cool as
man.
hell. You know what I'm saying? I just worry. I just worry because I've never heard this red pill side of you come out. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But
Like, you know, communists, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like, okay, Stalin killed millions of people, sure. Doesn't mean that communism is a bad thing and we shouldn't bring it back.
Okay, okay. I don't get how that matches with
For
Trump.
example, capitalists, liberals, they say no, communism is bad because they have a certain talking point, right? And tankies, they say no, communism wasn't bad. Not that many people died. You know, they tried to deny it, but I won't deny it. Yes, a lot of people died.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
It was
there's some
mismanaged. I'm gonna be honest.
look, look. I'm not against claiming objectivity, right? There are people that are naturally taller than other people. I agree with that. There's some people that are naturally taller, right? And that's an objective fact. Um, I put the poll
Simon,
up.
can we talk about other things, man?
What's up?
Can we talk about other things?
Can we talk about something else?
Yeah.
Are you tired of this?
Tired of the show, man.
I think this is our first time we'll agree to disagree. We were talking about something else before, about whether colonization and is the same thing as fascism or something like that. I remember that, but I didn't know that we.
I want to know how's Hungary doing, man. How's Urban doing?
Yeah.
They're saying he's fucking up.
Is he? I mean, they. In my opinion, I think he's going to get reelected, man. I think America is going to bail Hungary out, like how we bailed out Argentina. $40 billion just fell from the sky, and I think Trump is going to do the same thing for his boy Orban. That's what I think. So even though
I mean, he's already doing that.
What's up?
He's already doing that.
He's gonna what? Trump is already giving money to
He,
Hungary.
he gave like 1 or 2 years for them to not cut Russian gas or something.
Really?
Yeah, he gave him like a pass. And other countries like India, if they keep buying Russian gas, they're gonna get sanctioned to hell. But you know, Urban is that guy, I guess.
Yeah, man. I think he's a political animal. When you talk to many people here in Hungary, they say if he wins next year that they're going to leave the country. I don't know how true that is, but I think his days are not numbered. You know, he gives things to people. You know, right now they're trying to give away houses, give away money to women that have children. You know, they're trying to do anything to just be on the good graces of people, to uphold the regime. You know.
I mean, but can Hungary like spend that money? I don't think so. It's one of the poorest countries in like
Yeah.
the Western European Union.
Yeah, they're deep in debt, and
Yeah.
also they're being fined by the EU for, not following their policy on immigrants and LGBTQ and stuff like that. But the regime flips and tells the people, like, oh, the EU is picking on us. The EU is trying to control us. They're taking away our sovereignty, and that pushes some more people, unfortunately, that fall for that propaganda into the regime. You know what I'm saying?
Do you know who does that too?
Who?
African leaders. They do the exact same thing.
Yep. Yeah. I've been thinking about this, man. Let me run this idea by you. I want to run this idea. I've been thinking about writing a book called Afrofascism. And in the book, it's like I lay out the ideology of an Afro-fascist movement.
Yeah.
What do you think about
Fictional or real world, or fictional based on real world?
No, it's sort of like a manifesto. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the Afro-fascist manifesto, just as like an exercise. You know what I mean? In
A manifesto.
the Afro-Fascist Manifesto, sort of like how Hitler wrote out all his ideas, Lenin wrote the State and Revolution. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like a
Yeah.
joint like that. I don't know. I don't want to be the guy responsible for like the redneck Holocaust 500 years later, but I'm just saying it's like an idea just to practice and also to help people point out Afro-fascist, because I think that's on the horizon. I think we're not that far away from somebody actually implementing those ideas, and if we pinpoint it now, then we're going to be able to better fight against Afro-fascism. You get what I'm saying?
What's Afrofascism for you? What do you think it is?
The way I conceive of it, you could come across you could build an Afro-fascist ideology in two ways. You could say that, racism never happened, or slavery wasn't that bad, whatever. Or you could acknowledge that slavery, racism plays a major part in forming black identity, right? I would rather choose that second half. That's where you have to fucking start, right? Then you have to start in building the world that the fascists believe in, right? So in this case, black men are the original man, the center of civilization, the people that first charted the world and stuff like that. Then you build this idea out, right? Saying that we've fallen from our former glory as the lords of the earth, right?
Yeah.
Now the question becomes whether Afrofascism should be, how can I say it, like a type of conquest that's done, meaning wherever black people are, we deserve to rule and lord over others, or whether it's a return to Africa type of movement, where we have to rebuild the fallen land of Africa. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's where, I know this sounds crazy, but I think...
It doesn't sound crazy. It doesn't sound crazy at all.
Right. And once again, I totally disavow all these ideologies, but from it, you can build, whichever one you choose, then you build on the idea, okay, strong black family unit, strong, ideas of traditional patriarchy, you know what I mean? And now the religion question comes into hand. Now, our religions that we mostly follow as black people have been forced upon us or given to us, Christianity, Islam, right? What do you do with religion? Do you form a new one? I would argue that a new faith has to be formed centered around the black ideal. You know what I mean? We can't just paint Jesus black or Muhammad black. We have to get rid of them both. You get what I'm saying?
Did you know that Africa was Christian? Well, East Africa was Christian 300 years before Europe.
Right. I would say
it was much more forced on Europeans than it was on at least Eastern Africans.
Right. I mean, the Axumites did accept Christianity, right, very early, and also the early Muslims fled to Ethiopia to escape persecution. I understand that too.
Do you know how Jews got the idea from not monotheism, but certain ideas of the devil and so forth?
Right.
They got it because they were dominated by Zoroastrians and so forth and kidnapped.
Right. But
the history of ideas, there's a lot of force involved.
Of course.
Thinking of religion, I think what you should do, you should have freedom of religion, but you should have less of this. One thing that Western do well in the West is pluralism. It's like not only religion, but religion and many other ideas in competition.
Right.
You should keep the good and get rid of the bad.
I see that. I mean, when it comes to keeping the good, I think for the Afro-fascist ideology, we're not going to all start wearing kente cloths. Like, we're going to take on the garb of the West, right? So we like high leather boots. We like, trench coats. We're rocking that. You feel me? So we're keeping language too. We're not gonna just say, okay, now we all need to learn Swahili, right? We're going to use the tools that are available. But as far as the religion part goes, I think for the Afro-fascist ideology, you have to get rid of Islam and Christianity because they can both be used as anti-racist, and the Afro-fascist has to be explicitly, racist. You get what I'm saying?
I'm understanding what you're saying now because, I'm understanding what you're saying because Christianity and it's not so much only race-based, but also, you can have a community with a Muslim from Russia and a Muslim from Indonesia. That's what
Right.
you're saying, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It
Yeah.
has to be. It has to be more.
Black exclusive.
Yeah, it has to be exclusive. You know, it has to be sort of like we have to rebuild a type of like Judaism. I know there's a word for it. It has to be ethno-religious. It has to be ethno-religious or racially religious. You know what I'm saying? So
Actually,
basically, I'm just copying and pasting all the things I've learned and heard and read about the white supremacists and just putting the black spin on it because we've
yeah,
incorporated all these different concepts: Afro capitalism, Afro communism, anarchism, all these things. There hasn't been an Afro fascistic movement yet or ideology, and I don't want it to come, but I think charting out how it could be done could be helpful for anti-fascists later. You get what I'm saying?
yeah.
I know this sounds
Well,
crazy. This sounds insane.
I know what you're saying, right?
Right, right.
Uh, but maybe not like a manifesto per se, but more like not like the not like the Communist Manifesto or I was Hitler's thing. I forgot its name. Mine, mine. I was say struggle in German. I forgot. I knew, but I forgot.
Mein Kampf.
Mein Kampf. Yeah,
Yeah.
Kampf is struggle in German.
Hmm.
Instead of something like that, you can do it more like a warning for future generations or something like that. Not so much political theory,
Hmm.
more like this universalist, compassionate, honestly a little bit more religious even kind of message.
Hmm. Right. I mean, I guess so. I mean, I would hate to be that guy that writes that book and then I get labeled that when that's totally not my ideology at all. Um,
Yeah.
I just feel like it would be like sort of like kind of also a social experiment to see,
Mm.
who picks it up, like who actually runs with these stupid ideas. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Um, but also just like a way of framing the things that we hear, Dr. Umar say, or the things that we hear, your radical black Hotep uncle say. Like right now, we
Mm.
don't have the language or the word to describe these sort of, patriarchal, racist, or race conscious ideas that are regressive. And I think Afrofascist is a great way to describe it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Uh, well, I think. Well, I don't know about that. I think about that, but there's certainly an audience, about that stuff. I'm sure there is
Yeah.
because what happens more often than not after people get abused is that they replicate the same abuse.
Yeah, but that's the amazing thing about black folks. Like in general, we don't run around saying like we need to enslave white people to get even, or we need to.
We do not, for example, we do not
Yeah.
run with these ideologies. It wouldn't even make sense because we are global oppressed people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even countries where black people are the majority, they're oppressed by the global north, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's not that this forced humility on you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in black families, there's a lot of trauma, there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of beatings, there's a lot of dislocation going on there
Right.
due to the suffering that they were imposed, the suffering that
Mm-hmm.
it still happens to black people, but
Yeah.
to white people, I mean, but you know what I'm saying.
I don't know. It's just an idea. Don't steal my idea, please, man. Don't do it.
I have a question for you. I have a question. I have
What's
two
up?
questions for you. I haven't seen your movie reviews
Mm-hmm.
of the last two,
Mm-hmm.
of him and One Bottle After Another.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need, like, when I'm going on a drive or something, or when I'm like walking around. This is when I listen to the reviews. So I
Okay.
haven't had the chance to do that yet.
Okay.
But what did you think of him? Was it corny? It looked corny as hell.
It was fun the first time. Second time, it is kind of corny. Um, it's an idea that wasn't fully explored, or there are too many ideas explored in the film. Right? They didn't pick on one or two themes to really delve on. Acting was good. I like Marlon Wayans. I think he's really good, and he's underrated as a dramatic actor, and also in horror films. Like in Requiem for a Dream, he was really good. You know what I mean? And I think Marlon could have a better career if he gets more better roles than him. You know what I'm saying?
You mean he needs to make another scary movie?
No, not not scary movie, but like a real serious role. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
another role where he plays a villain or is going through something traumatic. I think he's good at that.
How much time do you have right now?
Let's cut this short in maybe 10 minutes or so.
Okay. So I saw one battle after another, right? I
Yeah.
saw it 2 days ago, I think.
Yeah.
I still haven't rated it on my letterbox.
Mm.
I'm still thinking about it. I'm still digesting it. I want to know what's your thoughts on it?
In general, I think the
Yeah.
film would be better if the entire Perfidia section was cut, and the movie begins with Willa doing karate in the dojo,
Uh,
and you have a much
you
better
know,
film. You don't need the Perfidia section at all, period, and you still get the
like
same movie. In fact, a superior movie.
it's funny you saying that, right? Because I kind of more or less thought the same, kind of more or less,
Mm-hmm.
and then like I saw some reviews of certain black spaces online, and they were in ironically they generalized every black female revolutionary on a movie based on her,
Mm-hmm.
but they were saying she was thin. I don't know if you agree. If she was thinly characterized, they needed because she had certain traits which were present in other
Yeah.
racist art forms that
Yeah,
there
she's a
should be some
Jezebel. She's a
justification of why she
Jezebel.
was like
She's a
that.
sapphire. I don't know if you
Yeah.
heard these terms, but she's a sexualized, overly sexualized black woman. I feel like
Like then,
I feel like what's his name, Thomas Anderson. He saw Kanye's video for what's it called, Fresh or whatever, where Tiana Taylor's dancing naked in sweat, and he's like, "Yeah, that's my one." Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
for me, honestly, she was the best. She was barely in it, and Regina Hall's character, uh, she was more dignified, more what you think black. I don't like using this term of. It seems like essentialism, but
Yeah.
what a black female revolutionary should be. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
she, obviously in the stage, she was a lot more composed and so forth. But overall, I thought that Diana's character, she was the best character overall, and she was so good that even though she's little in the movie, she's only barely in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
Her presence, her ghost, haunts the entire film.
Yeah.
Not only the performance was excellent, right? Because everybody, the movie it's not the movie is like a fever dream, and every character is like basically some idea of a person.
Mm-hmm.
The white racist guys, they
Mhm.
were like characters.
Mm-hmm.
Leo's character was like a character.
Mm-hmm.
Del Toro, no, not Del Toro.
Benicio.
Benicio character.
Yeah.
Forgot his name. He was like a character. The Lockjaw, he was very funny. He was basically a character.
Mm-hmm.
It was basically the movie felt to me like it was made of archetypes that you see in a dream.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like quite a little bit unknowable.
Mm-hmm. Um, I think that part, that the people are caricatures. That's done on
Archetypes,
purpose. I
archetypes.
mean, it's the film is explicitly satirizing our times. The anti-immigrant, militaristic America. You know, I think as leftists, we should never be disappointed that Hollywood is going to mischaracterize the left. We should be actively, pissed off and commenting about this film and how it's just obfuscating so many things, right? They give the white supremacists a whole time to talk about their racist ideas, but we never get the French 75 talking about their beliefs. They're just wild people. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't think we see really their ideas because what's their ideas? Their ideas, they're racist, right? They think they're superior and they should be on top. The racial stock, the white racial stock is superior.
Mm-hmm.
What do we know? The French 75.
Nothing.
They're anti-establishment. They're pro
Immigrant.
anti-borders or something like that.
Yeah.
they do say it, right?
Yeah.
But it's more like a vibe, you know. It's more like a vibes movie other than a hard theory movie. And like when I was watching those reviews of those spaces, I don't know if you follow these people. You know that girl? Ah, fuck, a beautiful black girl. I forgot her name. She was on Majority Report back in the day.
I forgot. I don't know.
I forgot her name, man. But yeah, you know,
Jungle
that
Pussy.
guy, man, with a big booty, man. The you know that guy, man, that sexy ass guy, bro.
I don't know who you're talking about, man. Just go ahead.
I mean, that guy, man. That guy, you know, man, the guy with the dreads, the protector of black woman.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
You know who it is, Simon. I was just making fun of him the other day, man.
And what movie was he in?
He's not a movie. He's a commentator on YouTube.
Oh, FD Signifier. Oh
FD
yeah. You
Signifier,
said
yeah.
when that slut FD Signifier hated this movie, I knew it was gonna be fire.
That little slut.
That shit was fire.
Yeah.
That shit killed me.
So yeah, so like I was watching a lot of the people on that space of their reviews, and they missed, right. They were they thought, right, they were based on the Black Panthers, on in you know on American black revolutionary groups. That was a category mistake. They're obviously a bit more based on
the symbiote,
on
symbiote army.
on German, not only America, not only the Black Panthers, but on other revolutionary groups, on
We had the
Russian
Weather-
and
we had
German.
the Weather Underground, and we also had the Symbiote Army or something like that. And these were two leftist groups that were multiracial but mostly white, and that's what the French 75 looks like.
Yeah, the they are an amalgamation, and people miss that. They were saying, "Oh my God, the black people and stuff like that," but I felt like they're like missing the point. Do you agree?
Uh, I could under. I think maybe some people might have missed the point that, of course, the French 75 and Perfidia are supposed to be amalgamations of different people, right? Yeah, some people might just be that shallow because they only know the Black Panthers. I agree with that. I just think as the film in and of itself misses the opportunity to explain more of Perfidia's actions. Because if we sit down and think about her sleeping with everybody, her leaving her child, her shooting up the bank, whatever, right? We need more explanation as to the motivation of these things. You know what I'm saying? And that's where the film is totally fucked up at. Like that whole section is a waste.
Nobody, like, of the main characters, at least nobody explains their backstory of what they do, what they do. So I think for me, it's unfair to place that on her, you know. And I think that stuff you're not supposed to get from exposition from the film. You're supposed to infer from their behavior, you know. Why is she like this? And you're supposed to bring your own ideas onto it. For me, those are the best movies.
Okay. I mean, I always like, digging in or filling in the blanks. But for a character this important and knowing that the black audience is watching too, because this is the thing. These movie studios are receptive to their audience. They're looking on Twitter. They're seeing the commentary too. And you put this out knowing that black people are going to be like, why is this woman a white cock, sex-craved, bombing anarchist for immigrants? You get what I'm saying? Like, that's so out of the zeitgeist. It's so out of the zone.
I don't think she was like, from before I watched the movie, I was watching those reviews, right? So when I came in, I had an idea in her head, which kind of fit, which was she was hypersexual, but she's not like hypersexual per se. She was like an adrenaline junkie, who in like the inversion of power with the colonel sergeant.
Yeah, I agree with that. I even said that in the review. I think that she gets off. She's mentally not well. That's the only.
No, she's well. She's well.
No. You just said that she's a adrenaline junkie who likes to blow up shit.
But that doesn't mean that you're unwell.
Okay. I mean, neither of us are therapists or psychologists, but I
I
think
mean, what would you define like unwell? Like, for me, maybe if you're depressive or something, you can say, yeah, that you have a problem.
I
But
think
unwell
it
is
would you.
basically what doesn't fit in society's norms.
I think that she would be classified as a sex addict.
She's not a sex addict.
Okay. She said, "Let's fuck while the bomb goes off."
That's that's a certain trait of impulsivity and seeking new experience. That's
Okay.
low innovation. That's not, which is sometimes correlated with promiscuity. But she shows no promiscuity whatsoever in the
I
movie. She fucks one guy and pegs another guy.
okay. I don't want to just harp on Perfidia's sexuality. I just feel like, let's say this film had Leonardo DiCaprio blowing up police stations and shooting cops in the back of the head, and then he says, and then they do this for black people, right? Because like the film has basically the French 75 robbing banks and breaking open detention centers, and immigrants are the backdrop for a lot of their motivation. You know what I'm saying, for protecting people. If this film was in reverse, they would explain why Leo was blowing up buildings and doing shit for black people. The fact that they don't have Perfidia explaining why she's doing all this shit for immigrants, to me, just rings so out of touch. You know what I'm saying?
I disagree because like it's not so much a they. It's more Paul Thomas Anderson, and Paul Thomas Anderson movies. The characters are morally ambiguous, and you get maybe some subtle hints of their backstory. You get no real motivation of what they do, why they do. It's the same happens in this movie.
I mean,
You don't know why
in Boogie
You don't
Nights, it
know
all
why
made
Leo.
sense. Come on now, in Boogie
Huh?
Nights, the Dirk Diggler was trying to make some money, and he had a big old cock. That's why he was doing what he was
Yeah,
doing.
but why is he like trying to make some money in that way? Like, why is he not instead washing dishes or getting an astounding job?
I gotta watch
There's
the
a ton of
movie.
guys with big cocks, but they don't do porn.
Yeah, but they told him he was special. He was special. I gotta watch the movie again. It's been a long time, but if I remember right,
But
Dirk
even with
Diggler
that
was
movie,
told
what
he was
about The
special.
Master? There Will Be Blood,
And There
Phantom
Will Be Blood.
Thread.
The motivation was to make money. The guy went out there and said, "I'm
Yeah,
gonna."
but why is he like that? Why is he so obsessed with trying to make money?
Okay, I mean, we could. Come on now. Okay, I could do the same thing. Why is Perfidia obsessed with? Do you like white girl? Do you like black girls? Do you? Why is this her constant talking? You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like,
the, but you're saying if this would happen if this were inverted, this would be explained. But how so? None of the characters in the movie, any other Paul Thomas Anderson movies, they're explained. Why should it be different for her?
okay. Well, I think we'll have to agree to disagree on this one. I'm gonna have to wrap it up here. I got some other stuff I need to do. But I enjoyed this talk, man. It's always good chopping
Me
it up
too.
with you.
You too, man.
Yeah, we'll probably do another one soon. I'll catch you next time.
You should have invited me for that one battle after another.
Yes, I mean we can do another one. Let's do another review of it. We could talk about it again. I don't care. Next
Okay,
time I do one of
schedule
these,
it.
yeah, maybe next week or so. Maybe this time next Sunday we'll do another live talk. And Avery jumped in the chat. I'm wearing a shirt, man. I'm wearing a shirt. Don't think I'm not wearing a shirt, man.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought you were like only wearing that jacket on top. I'm gonna lie.
No, man, that's too zesty. Nah, y'all
I
see
thought,
the
man, what
shirt.
is Simon doing, man?
Nah, I'm wearing the shirt under it. It's just low neck cut. He said I gotta be stopped. That's funny. Y'all crazy, man. I'll catch y'all next time. Y'all